Hey everybody, before we hop into the match, I just want to say that starting tomorrow, my channel name will be changing from Primitive TCG to Primitive Kage to match all my other social media, including I will be having a new logo and header and all that, so nothing about the channel will really be changing except it will be higher quality now, but I just wanted to give you all a heads up so that change will be happening. But with that being said, let's get on into this match. What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and today I am very excited to be hopping into some store championship coverage. Today we're going to have myself on the left playing Bond of Friendship, and then on the right we're going to be having the DexDorugoramon Alphamon list. It's much more focused on the Dorugoramon DexDorugoramon than it is the Alphamon, which we see from a lot of these X-Antibody style decks, but was able to hit the Gabumon into Matt on my end, so it's going to help me get a lot of value going forward, and of course make it so that my Bond of Friendship is now live, and then my opponent on the other end gets their Dorugomon, and they have the Cool Boy out, so they can go into the DexDorugoramon here. Going to be able to gain a memory and draw a card off the Cool Boy, and can trash a card to gain a memory off of the DexDorugoramon here. So that's going to put you at 3. So if they want to go up into the Dorugoramon now, they can, which is going to be pretty much the next step that you want to take. So there they are. They have the 3, so they're going to be able to play it here and put a source underneath. Going with another Dorugray, going to be able to draw off the Dorimon, but not anything too crazy like the Dorumon being able to gain memory or anything like that, but going to be able to go in here for 1. Going to use the trashing effect to gain the memory so it still stays turn, and then since there is that Dorugoramon Digivolving, going to be able to pop here. Getting rid of my EX1 Gabumon makes way more sense. It has a very good inheritable, plus it has the Upamon. No reason to get rid of the 1k, essentially vanilla now Gabumon, but now not sure what my opponent's going to do. If they play any cards, they are going to have to give me a pretty decent amount of memory, but they are swinging for 3 checks, and they are going to hit a Lightning Joust, which is going to add to my hand because I am playing the red package in this deck, and they also hit the Ice Wall, which is going to pass turn, which is nice. It isn't that big of a deal. I feel like there's a big chance that they probably would have had to given me 3 if they didn't have the Ice Wall, and so now I'm just at 2, but now I can get the BT6 Gabumon in the back, which is going to be the one that I want for my Bond of Friendship, and then I'm just going to set up the hero here. I want to get my Memory Tamer out because I don't want to get choked, and I also just really want that red package live because I have the Lightning Joust. So now with the hero and the mat out, I am in a position to where I could go for things like promote, go to 4 because of the mat, and then I can go into Bond and go for Lightning Joust and stuff like that. So having the hero out is very nice, but on the other end, my opponent is just swinging in here, going in, going to play another Cool Boy, able to hit that Death X Evolution there, since it does have the X Antibody trait, and then going to play the Kongu here so that I can't attack with anything with an 8 cost or less. Which is pretty annoying because I was in a position where I wanted to try to go in with this Gabumon. I would be able to go for Bond, be able to go for Joust and whatnot, but I am going to go for Bond here. I don't have any security, so it means we will be surviving at the end of the turn, but I mostly just wanted to bottom deck my opponent's Digimon so they don't get up into a Mega here. So I swing unsuspend with the Gabumon effect, and I could swing for a 3rd time right here. I decide not to just because I don't really want to play too much into the DexDorugoramon retaliation being able to potentially come out. It's going to be hard for my opponent to get there, but with me being able to swing 3 checks next turn with another Digimon on board, I felt better not swinging right there. But I do get kind of punished here because the Dex is going to be able to come out here, which is going to be able to de-Digivolve my Bond down to a rookie and my Leomon down to a rookie, and they both are just going to get popped right there. And so now I'm obviously in a pretty sticky situation here because I don't have any security. My opponent's got 2 Digimon on the board, with one of them being the Death Xmon, so it is also going to be very annoying at popping, but I have to go up onto the mat here with the Korikaku so I can get up into Beowulf. This is going to allow me to swing, bounce the Tsunariza back to hand, and make it so that way they will be able to not have a second Digimon on board. My opponent did put the egg to the bottom of the deck, just a little bit of an accident right there, and it did get fixed. No foul, no harm there, but now I still have to be able to make it so this Death Xmon can't attack, so I'm going to go with the Howling right there. If I did have another hybrid, being able to go hybrid into the Korikaku on top to stun and then go for the Beowulf could have been nice, but now I'm going to go for another mat so that way I can promote my Gabumon next turn, gain that memory, draw that card on top of the hero and the blue memory boost. Looking at a pretty decent position to where I probably won't go down next turn. My opponent doesn't have any black tamers on the board up until right now, so they couldn't go for something like Grumblemon if they are playing it to go for game, so no way for them to be able to swing in right there with just the Death Xmon, and now I can go in. I unfortunately don't have the Bond to be able to just go in for a clean game right here, but I do have a second alternative here. I can go up into the Korikaku and then go up into the Beowulf here. I do draw the Bond right there, but a little bit too late because the mat is already gone, but now I'm going to play the tie out and go for the Lightning Joust. I'm just playing the tie because I want the extra DP boost, so I have the highest chance of being able to get through both checks right here. here. So swinging at 9, 10, 12k, so surviving the first check, then the second check, and then I can swing in with the Gabu to be able to go in for game right there. So had to just kind of take that push. I was in a position where if I didn't promote right there, I was just going to lose the next turn anyway, so had to be able to go in and try to go for game. The Lightning Joust just barely getting through right there with all those DP buffs, but thankfully was able to take that going into game 2. But now my opponent's going to set up 2 Cool Boys, so searching here, going to finally hit that rookie for next turn, and I just have a Leomon in the back. This is a pretty decent card in the matchup just because you have blocker with on deletion gain 2 draw 1, but I'm okay with swinging in, and if it goes down then being able to gain that memory and draw that card for my turn. But I swing into a third Cool Boy, so now my opponent is going to have just an insane amount of resources for the remainder of the game. Anytime they go into one of their Dex Digimon on top of the same level, they're just going to be able to gain 3, draw 3. It's extremely powerful. Now with the Coda out as well, it's just going to be very hard. Next turn, you can pretty much expect them to go into the Darugomon, into the DexDorugoramon on top of this Dorumon, and you're just going to have so much memory to continue your plays here. Now, last turn I did play the BT6 Gabumon to put my opponent at 1. That means I don't have a Gabumon to put in raising right now, so I have to put the Madoki in there, which isn't great because I have the Bonds in hand, I have Matt in hand. I just can't get to him right now because there's really no reason to play Matt out if I don't have a Gabumon in raising. Much better to just build on board. I did go ahead and build up into the Beowulf here. My opponent is going to be going to 3 anyway, so I just kind of wanted to get the extra draw in the cycle. I'm already super far behind anyway, so what I really need is to get Matt out, get a Red Tamer out, and then be able to go for a turn where I promote, go for Bond, go for Lightning Joust, or 2 Lightning Joust, and be able to go in for game. And if I don't, then there's not really much else I'm going to be able to do here, so I am going to promote the Madoki just because it is fairly strong versus this deck, but they played the Kongu, so I can't actually make any attacks here. I can play the Hero, which is going to give my opponent their 3, so just fills out memory nice for me while also giving me this Memory Tamer. It gives me that red source so that way I can go for Joust and a Delicate Plan later, which, like I said, is going to be my game plan here. But because of all these Cool Boys and this Dorugoramon being out now, there is a pretty high chance that if we go up into the DexDorugoramon, that we're just going to be able to extend plays here. So going with the Death X Evolution here, going to be able to Digivolve for 1 on top of the Dorugray, going to be able to get the on deletion to gain a memory, and then going to have the 3 Cool Boys, and of course popping the Madoki with the Digivolving effect. And here's where things go from bad to worse. My opponent does have the Dorugoramon here, which does mean that with the 6 sources underneath, that when they attack, they're going to be able to put a 7th underneath, so the when attacking effect is going to be able to just pop my Beowulf and my Leomon, so my board is just going to be completely wiped right here, while them also being able to get multiple checks. I do get to gain the 2 memory, draw 1 right there, but they're going to swing into a second hero. That's not going to help me at all. I need a hero with an E because as of right now, there is just this Mega that's going to be able to swing 2 checks with a rookie in the back, so unless I hit something like Rattlestar, which is my removal option here to be able to get rid of this Ryudomon, then I'm not going to be able to survive this turn, so I just play out the Tommy and the Matt. Just in case I do survive to next turn, I want to set up to try and go for game, but again, the chances of me surviving this turn are pretty low. This deck doesn't play a lot of hard removal in the security, so going to go here, going to play the Dory, so you gain 2 memory there, but it doesn't matter. Going to be able to swing 2 checks uncontested and be able to go in for game right there. And getting on into the third and final game here, I did lose that second game, so I'm gonna have my opponent going first. I want that second draw. I want to be able to, you know, get the draw, get the memory, try to be able to find things like Matt here, but my hand is absolutely atrocious opening up, unfortunately. I do have the Madoki that I can play out to put my opponent at 1, but it isn't going to be that big of a deal. Luckily for me though, it looks like my opponent's hand is not as great either, because as we're about to see right here, they are just going to hard play the Dorugoramon to give me a bunch of memory right here, which felt super good because my hand's not super great, especially drawing the Hammer Spark right there. I'm not getting too much, so I'm going to go into the Kumamon. That's going to allow me to just get another little draw right here. Swing, get the Upamon draw. I want to do that before I play my Rattlestar here to bounce because I want that Upa draw, but bouncing the Dorugoramon back to hand. If they're going to hard play it, I just have to get it off the board because I don't really have too much going for me right here, but now going to be able to Hammer Spark, play the Gabumon to draw, just kind of looking for the cards that I need, but still not finding any Tamers or anything like that. Have a couple red heart cards in hand that are currently dead because of the fact that I don't have any red cards, but my opponent's going to Ultimate Flare, put me all the way up to 6, and my hand is, let's see, I think that's 3 Bond of Friendships, 2 Hammer Sparks, a Joust, and a Howling, so I'm thinking about if I want to just pass turn. I can play Gabumon EX1, I can play the Howling, and then I can pass. But instead, I'm going to Hammer Spark, and I'm going to play the Bond and put my opponent to 7. It's in a situation where my opponent showed that they don't have the greatest hand anyway, and my hand is absolutely terrible, so the chances they can get rid of it are super low. And if they do choose to build something up on board, then it is likely going to get bottom decked. I don't have a Tamer, so I'm not going to be able to unsuspend the Bond when attacking, but still being able to threaten it is nice. I'm not sure if this was my best play. It might not have been, but it is the play that just felt right. I felt like since my hand was so bad that I couldn't play out my only rookie in hand, so that way I could have something to cycle in raising later. But now my opponent is just going to go in with a bunch of rookies right here. I gave them a ton of memory to search out, so they're going to take full advantage of that right here, which isn't super terrifying. Them going wide on rookies is a lot less scary than them going for one tall stack. So another Dorugoramon coming out right here, number 3, plus the Ryudomon on the board. So gonna trash that DexDorugoramon there and be able to draw 2. I'm gonna promote, I'm gonna swing once again. I'm not able to unsuspend here because I don't have a Tamer, but I can bottom deck the Dorumon there just because it is the one that gains memory, so I figured I'd bottom deck it. And now I hit the Coda, so things are getting even worse because I was gonna be able to potentially choke my opponent there and not be in the worst position with this Howling, but now they're gonna go to 3 no matter what. I get the stun, but that's not going to matter too much here just because with how much memory they're going to have, they're going to be able to play for really good effects. And then right here, we're going to see why that first game where I didn't want to go ahead and unsuspend before I got punished with the Death Xmon, but because of the fact that you can just get into a blocker retaliation so easily, they are just going to be able to Digivolve up, go for the retaliation, which is nice to a degree because they had to go up for a couple Digivolution cards there to trade in, but I just still don't have anything going for me, so it's not going to be too easy. I just kind of have to go for the aggression right here. My opponent's starting to get all the cards that they need to be able to go in for game, so going in with the Death X Evolution right there to be able to go into the DexDorugoramon and then the Wind Digivolving effect. Gonna pop the Gabumon right there, which sucks because I do have that Leomon in hand. Being able to Digivolve that on top and then swing to be able to get the Gabumon search effect would have been extremely helpful right there. I do have another Gabumon in the back now, but I definitely don't want to be putting Leomon on top of that because I want that mat memory, and also it's just having the Leomon on board would have been much nicer with how much damage is being thrown at me right now. Being able to have that blocker while also being able to gain memory would have been very nice. So I'm just going to be able to swing 2 checks right here at I believe 17k. Gonna hit the second Howling, so that does help for memory gain. But unless I draw some more influential cards in my hand, I don't think it'll help too much. I do have a couple hybrids, but with only 1 Tamer, it's not going to help too much. And especially because I don't want to be really going over my mat. I can now because I gained the memory and draw the card, but if I hit the Bond of Friendship and get rid of my mat, I can't go into that right now, and that might be potentially my only saving grace. So thinking about what is going to be the play here, I'm going for the Bond. I can't go for the Lightning Joust, which if I could would probably be way more helpful right here, but regardless, I feel I have to go into Bond here because if not, my opponent's just going to be able to go a little too hard. There's a lot of aggression going, so being able to swing, I will be able to bottom deck here. I will be able to swing unsuspend and hit the tie, and so that will change my plan of action here potentially. I have the other Howling, so I could go up to 3. That would allow me to play the 2-drop tie that I just hit, then gives me the red source to play the Lightning Joust. I can swing the remaining 2 checks with the Lightning Joust, and then be able to bottom deck that Ryudomon, and then it puts me in a position to where, yes, my Bond is going to go down and I don't have anything else on board, but if my opponent puts me at 2 memory, then I would be able to hybrid for game right here. So this is mostly just me thinking about if it's worth going for it, if I really have any other chance, and I don't think I do. So you see me go ahead and just fire on it here, gonna be able to swing the last 2 checks, and then I can just pass turn here with really whatever I want to go for here. I could play the Gabumon, or I could play the Mat. I decided to go with the Gabumon as the draw one because it does just give me another Digimon on board to potentially threaten my opponent. But now we're in a position to where if they clear the Gabumon, I'm really just 1 hybrid away, but I don't have a memory tamer. I don't have any ways to really gain memory, no more Hammer Sparks in hand. So if my opponent doesn't put me at 2, then I don't have any way to even be able to go for the hybrid anyway. So going to be able to swing here. It's going to pop the Gabumon. Yes, I played into that, and I could have had it not get popped if I just played something like the Mat or even the Tommy that's in my hand, but I just wanted to get that draw, try to cycle and find the cards that I needed, so it didn't really matter too much. But here we go. My opponent is going to play Cool Boy. I'm going to draw. I don't hit a rookie. I can't Digivolve. I don't have a Hammer Spark, so I can't go for game. So I am just going to scoop it up. My opponent has it next turn since I have no security. But with that being said, if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe because I'll be bringing you even more Store Championship content, BT9, BT10 soon, all that. But with that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you next time. Peace out.